We are in strange times, and the art of giving thanks and saying thank you is slipping away. But what do we do when we get that thank you? How, as receivers, should we respond, or how are we responding? So we're going to take a look at that today. So join us for a cup of coffee. We'll be back in a few seconds. Hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. SimpleBiz360 podcast. My name's Jeff Mason. I'm your host. Episode 128. We have never missed a beat since we started in mid-October 2019. Every Thursday morning, 6 o'clock a.m., we're out. You can also find our book, SimpleBiz360, Timeless Business Tools. 255 timeless business tools packed in 204 pages. A lot of fun. We look at overlooked and ignored business principles rooted in common sense. That's what we're all about. So join us for this journey, if you will. We're coming to you from Half Coast Studio. Maddie Parker's on the boards. We are on YouTube, IGTV, and Gab TV as far as visual experience goes. We're on 28 listening platforms, so we'd love, if we've earned a 5-star rating, we'd love you to give us a rating on those listening platforms, and certainly would love you to subscribe if you want to the YouTube experience or Gab or IGTV as well. So we're really excited about this episode today. And I tell you what, this episode stems from a little thank you note that I attached to a $20 bill. I gave the young man who cuts my lawn a $20 tip last summer. And about 2 months later, I'm in the backyard rummaging around the wood pile, and I see, hey, what looks like the note card I had that I gave him the tip with. And I get it, pick it up, and it's all crumpled. It's all dirty. It's been rained on. It's all muddy. And I thought, wow, this is what he thought of that tip. He never said anything to me, so I'm sure he got it. And, he just decided to litter it in the yard, or just not even care about where he put it. Maybe he put it on the tree stump and it just blew away. I don't know. I'm assuming that's what happened. But, so I saved that for about 6 months, and then I threw it away thinking I'll never use it. Well, then it dawned on me that I should use it. So, what's really funny is I've been watching both sides of this thank you coin, and it really fascinates me when I think about the art of giving thanks. But I really started to think, in recent years, what are we doing when somebody says thank you for a job well done to us? And I've really started watching it, and it's fascinating how many people never say boo. They just don't. It was like did they hear me? Did they acknowledge it? I mean, I don't know, but I guess it didn't matter to them, because I said, hey, thanks so much for doing a great job in that project. It really meant a lot to me that you got it done on time, and I just thank you. I just want you to know that. Yeah. So, hey, listen, I need to ask you about this. And it's just like, boom, went right over their head. Or I don't know. Is it hard for people to accept thanks sometimes? Is it uncomfortable? Is it weird? Is it awkward? I don't know. I'm trying to look at it and go, what really goes on? So, what we want to do is just pump a bunch of questions out, have you kind of think about it. How do you handle a thank you gesture? I mean, do you have any personal operating procedure for how you handle one? What does it mean to you when you get one? Do you even care? Do we ignore them and just move on? If we do ignore these compliments, what message is that sending to the sender? Is it a confusing message to the sender? I don't know. I kind of wondered, right? What did the kid think of that $20 tip? I guess it really didn't matter that much. Maybe he gets $100 tips. I don't know. Maybe it was a bad one. But, if you're silent on it, are we actually sending a message to the giver of that thank you that, this really doesn't matter? Are we actually adding to the decline of the thank you process in society or in business? Because we're microcosms of society, right? So are we really adding to that by doing it? So it really got me thinking, let's explore the default mechanics as to how we handle receiving thank you emails, text messages, phone calls, voice messages, and then the face-to-face. And I really do think in many cases, the face-to-face, it's easier to say, well, thank you. That was very nice of you to say that. Not every time does it just go over their head and they don't respond face-to-face, but it seems to be definitely more often than not on the written end or the verbal end via voicemail or text message. So the conclusion of, my situational observation is that there is a definitive decline in expressing written and verbal thank yous. And that process bleeds over to the receiver side. So I've noticed it in 30 years. I think it's accelerated in the last 10 to 12 years. And the questions I have, and I'm not trying to answer these questions, but is it that we're not teaching manners? You know, my grandson just went to a field trip the other day, and it was a manners field trip, and I was blown away. I was like, what? Yeah, he went on a manners field trip, and they went out for tea to learn some of the, etiquette and the proper manners to have when you're out dining with people, And I mean, how many times have you been out with people in a professional business dining experience and they're pushing the food on the fork with their thumb, I mean, that doesn't, that kind of thing is, not what good professional manners would suggest. So again, learning that kind of stuff. So I thought it was really cool. So I don't know, is the thank you process something we're not teaching our young kids? Are we leaving that teaching process to the schools to take care of it? Are we just dialed into this world of, what's in it for me? WIIFM. If there's nothing in it for me, I don't really care. I mean, so is that part of it? Or is this just a societal extension of the me generation that popped up, and we've all, those me generation people have had kids and they pass on the me generation WIFM feeling to the kids? I don't know. Are we just too busy in life? Do we have all the little compartments and hours chalked up that we're so busy taking the kids here, doing this, meetings, functions, PowerPoints, dinners, kids to bed, that we forget it? I don't know. What is it? Right? Or are we just too grumbly because of all the division in the world? Are we just like, I don't even want to say anything nice to anybody? I don't know. What is it? So, it's not my job in this short podcast to shed a light on the reasons why. But in my opinion, I truly believe that many people think in their own mind that they've said thank you when they actually really have not said thank you. And I really do. I see this a lot of times in work settings and in life. In fact, I interrupted a vacation of mine one time to do a favor for someone that took quite a bit of hours. It took quite a bit of driving, and never received a thank you whatsoever. And, it just kind of got me to think, because these are really good people. And do I really think that they meant not to thank me? No. But do I think that maybe in their own mind they actually thought they thanked me? I'm really leaning on that, thinking, you know what, I think that really probably is it, because I have had that same thing. Like, I've had people say to my mother, or I can't think of an exact situation with her, but, hey, did you ever get that money for the birthday? Yeah, I thanked you. Oh, I didn't see one. Then I'm thinking, wait a second, I thought I said thank you, during that phone conversation. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I thought I did. Did I? She didn't hear. I don't know, And so, we run into those kind of things, right? And, she sent me a gift. I owed her a thanks, and I didn't do it, which brings me to a point. My mother's going to listen to this, obviously. And, she comes from that generation that sent thank you notes a couple days later after receiving something. And it was just the way she always did it, and, tried to teach us to do it. And I have failed miserably. I'm horrible at this in terms of writing. I really don't do as many thank yous in business as I should. And, I'm definitely at fault here. And she knows it. So Mom, yeah, for sure. Super guilty of that. So back to accepting thanks. How will your non-reply affect the giver? Have you ever just sat and asked yourself, how will that affect that giver? And after all, they took the time out to express their genuine, in most cases, right, genuine appreciation. So, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, our actions touched them in a way that they felt compelled to say things. What should we do with that? Are we actually hurting them by not acknowledging? Are we actually kind of, I don't want to say spitting in their face, but are we kind of spitting in their face by not acknowledging that they've done this? Let's be honest. Who doesn't like to receive a thank you? Are there people out there that don't like to receive thank yous? I do. It means something to me when someone recognizes you and said, you know what, that you really did a great job. And, I think I've given a story out it wasn't until a couple of times I've mentioned this story. It wasn't until I left my company in the apparel business, and Target was one of my big customers. And so over the years, you got to deal with the same certain people at Target and so forth and so on. And so when I announced my departure, was going on to an executive position, moving out of the New York metro area out to St. Louis. And this very nice product development person over at Target, who I've been dealing with for years, said, wow, you know what? I wish you all the best. You know what, Jeff, we were just talking the other day. You and this other person are our two favorite vendors because of your attention to detail is something to the effect of just so appreciated, off the charts. If everyone had your attention to detail, our job would be so much easier. And this person was really just saying thank you. And for those 4 years I dealt with her, there may have been just common thank you, for sending an email or sending a package or whatever. Thanks, I got it. Appreciate it. I'll give you feedback in 24 hours, blah, blah, blah. But this person never really kind of dumped their heartfelt appreciation on me. So for me not to accept that and not to acknowledge that, I think would have been rude. And in fact, that touched me so nicely, and I put it in my book. And it's one of those gleaning moments that you glean as a business professional. You glean that insight that if that's the right word, but you gain that insight that person has really appreciated all your hard work and efforts over all those years. And it really just said to me, you know what? I should keep doing what I'm doing. I should keep trying to please customers beyond their expectations, never expecting a thank you. But when I get one, let me recognize it. So just some chin rubbers to think about as we kind of close up here. Will our lack of thank you acknowledgments stifle future givers? Don't know. My feeling is probably. It's probably going to say, well, you know what? If I keep saying thank you to people and they never even acknowledge it, never say you're welcome or, my pleasure, or, I really appreciate it. Maybe it's not even worth it for me to say it anymore. Maybe it's going to make the giver hard and harden that person unnecessarily. Are we part of the problem by not letting givers know that we too are very thankful, that they're thankful? Kind of a double-sided coin. Yeah, I'm so thankful you're thankful. Kind of what's going on there. But or do we owe the giver a response? I mean, you got to ask yourself that question, right? We've talked about it ad nauseum here. If we are to call ourselves members of a compassionate human race, is a no reply really the proper response? I mean, we hear all this, social media dancing around, care about your brothers, be responsible. And, I'm a Christian, and that's what we're taught to do. We live Philippians 2, 3, 4, care about others more important than your own self. But so, I mean, a no response, are we really buying into that narrative, or are we kind of counter culture to that whole narrative of being passionate human beings, or compassionate human beings? So think about that. If we want to create better customer experiences, is a no response a component of that posture? I don't know. I say, you know what? If it comes down to me, I say that we volley a simple thank you back. A heartfelt boomerang thank you is what I call it, right? Just a nice boomerang. Hey, you know what? Thank you so much for that nice comment. You're welcome. It's been my pleasure. You're a great customer. I hope we can, do business for years to come. Hey, you're a great associate. Thanks so much for recognizing that. But I really do appreciate working with you too, and it's a lot of fun. I hope I can exceed your expectations continually in the future. So, things like that, right? Just kind of think about them, chin rubbers to go home and ponder. And, we want to enhance customer satisfaction and the customer experience here, and that's what we're all about. And I just think on the receiving end of thank yous, we should acknowledge it and volley back. So that's me. So at any rate, we're going to get the lead out today for our Lost in the Shuffle track, right? And that's Led Zeppelin. We're going to go back to Led Zeppelin 2. And they got a song on this album that's just packed with such good tunes. I mean, this album is loaded. And this song gets tucked way down the bottom of the pecking order of the great songs, right? But it's called Thank You, and it really is. It's dwarfed by all the other guys. It came out October 22nd, 1969. Truly kind of a Lost in the Shuffle track, but it is a good one. And this, you know what? I don't say it enough to my own wife, but This one, baby, goes out to you. Thank you, Monica, for loving me and being my wife. And enjoy this tune, Led Zeppelin, 1969, Led Zeppelin 2. Thank you. And guys, we always say if you want to enhance the results of your business, you want to make the results of your business better, then why not look at the how you do business and create better customer experiences on the front end? Because the team of horses pulling the results cart, you got it. It's the customer experience team of horses. That's who's doing it these days. So we just encourage you to come along for the ride, the book, the podcast. That's what we focus on every week. And listen, you know what? We all got computers, or most of us. I mean, there is so many ways to find out great information. Answer your own questions out there and find truth out there that you don't need to always listen to TV and cable news. In fact, I say put it down. Turn on a podcast. There's tons of them out there. You can find your own information. Check out other search engines that won't, curtail your search, and will let you go out there and freely get the answers you need, because there's tons of them out there. And we just need more truth tellers, right? We need people growing up as youngsters being advocates of the truth. Understand that truth does matter. We want more of it in the business world, in the political arena. We want more truth coming out in the future. So be a truth teller. Pick up a Bible. It's a great book full of tons of great stories. You can't make this stuff up. It's just unbelievable stuff. Pray and love the Lord God with all your heart, mind, soul. And guess what? 168 hours from now, you will see us again, and we'll be excited to see you next week. Thanks.